I think one of the main things with taking any examination is to make sure that you understand what's required. So reading the whole question from start to finish to make sure that you're answering the whole question and not just a part of it is really important.
So as you have read through the examination paper all the way through, then it's in your interest to start highlighting and marking bits that you think are important. So there'll be different ways in which the examination questions will be phrased. Some may use the word describe, some may well use the word analyse, so it gives you clues to what the examiner's looking for, and to underline key words so that you ensure you answer the question that's being asked rather than the question that you want to answer.
You don't need to answer all the questions in order. The answer booklets are fairly fluid, so you can answer the questions in any particular order that you want to. The one thing that I would say from an examiner point of view that I always get a lot of feedback in is if you don't answer everything in order, particularly within the booklet, that you do label up the number and the question. It is really difficult when an examiner is going through the booklet to put together where all your answers are, and it's a lot easier if you do that in a logical order. But in terms of answering the questions, then focus on probably the ones that you're the strongest in to start with.
Working out a time plan is really important because it gives you a framework in which you can construct your answers. So for example, if you have an examination paper that is 3 hours long with 3 questions, you know that you've got 1 hour per question and you need to stick to that. You may well finish one question in less than 1 hour, which gives you a bit more room to maneuver. But in some of the examinations, you'll have lots and lots of questions. And it's really very important that you don't spend too long on individual questions and then not have enough time to complete the paper.
Make sure you give yourself at least 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the exam to read through and make sure that what you have written, A, answers the question that was asked, and B, you can pick up typos, you can pick up your spelling mistakes, your grammar mistakes, and you've got an opportunity to answer them. I know it's tempting to keep writing right to the end and get every little scrap of information in, but if it's not presented in the right way to the examiner, you can actually lose marks.
There's nothing more annoying than seeing people leave the examination room before the examination time is complete. And so if you finish early, then my advice to you would be to go back across the paper just to go through your answers to make sure that what you have answered is relevant to the question that's being asked.
It's always very sensible to look at the mark allocation. That's a real good indicator as to how long you should spend on each particular question. At the beginning of the exam, probably spend a bit of time sort of planning and looking. There's no point writing a whole page if it's only worth 2 marks, and then there's another answer that's say worth 10 marks and you've written 2 lines. So it is very important that you spend some time looking at that particular mark allocation.
The examiners are not only looking for the answer, they're looking at how you arrived at the answer. You may well have got a figure or you may well have got a number wrong, but if you can show the examiner that you followed the right process and that you've drawn the right conclusion from a wrong set of data, then you may well get additional marks that you would have dropped by not showing your workings. So a couple of tips to students on booking your exams. You know that our exam centres fill up quickly. So you've got overseas students, you've got 3 weeks to book your exams. Please don't leave it until the last day to book. And the same with UK. Please don't leave it until 4:45 on the last day of exams when you know they close at 5, because unfortunately you may either find the examination centre is full and you can't book, or you may find that although you wanted to sit an exam in London, you've got to travel to York where there's the spare space. And also please make sure you've got a valid payment card when you come to book your exam, because when you get onto the website you will need to make sure you've got all your information together to book it. When you come to book your exams online, please make sure you know what you're going to book and where you're going to book it. The website does get busy and it does occasionally have some delays in timing. So please refrain from hitting the refresh button after 5 seconds if you haven't got a response. Please give it between 15 and 20 seconds before you actually hit that refresh button. A little tip for employers: if you've got a number of your employees who want to book on examinations, we can do block booking of exams for you. So rather than have them book individually and then perhaps have to claim that money back through an expenses process, we can accept your payment direct. If you want to do that, please give our Education Services team a call and they'll be pleased to send you the necessary forms to fill in and talk you through the process.